You know, at some point, I feel like I might have to break my own rules. And by that, I mean, this video right here is not a Why I Want. We normally kick Why I Wants off at the start of the new year, and normally, if we're going by all our standard procedures, we wouldn't even be thinking about starting up Why I Want this early into the season. But with this player right here, he is so extraordinarily special. We've been watching him for years, and he's just shown off at every level that he is getting better and better with each passing season, that I might have to go out there and start breaking my own rules and maybe even do the Why I Want series a little bit earlier than I normally would in 22-23. Don't get it twisted, though, because this video we're making right here is not a Why I Want. It's more of a conversation about what has happened the past few days, because when it comes to the WHL season starting up here, we have ourselves a reign of terror that has also begun at the same time. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're talking about the projected first overall pick for the 2023 NHL Entry Draft, a generational player, man, and I feel a lot more confident saying that today than I did, let's say 2, 3, 4 years ago when we were talking about guys who were making headlines in earlier drafts. Today we're going over to Regina, and we're talking about our favorite mod for the stream, Connor Bedard. Yeah, by the way, I know. Is he a stream mod? I don't know. I think he is, but either way, even if he's not, there still are some very good things to talk about. Connor Bedard has gotten off to an incredible start for the 2022-2023 season, and he's done it in pretty Bedard-like fashion, not gonna lie. So, if you're not familiar with what we're talking about here, Connor Bedard is the projected first overall pick in the 2023 NHL Entry Draft. His consolidated ranking is number 1. His Hockey News ranking is number 1. Bob McKenzie came out with a list 2 days ago. He's number 1. And Dauber has him at number 1 as well. It's been like this for a long time. Ever since, I want to say maybe 2019-ish, back when Connor Bedard was playing for the West Van Academy Bantam Prep School, a lot of people were going out there saying, yeah, this guy's going to be first overall in 2023, but it doesn't really matter because it's 4 years removed, so let's focus instead on the Hugheses and the Lafrenières and the guys that are going to be drafted sooner before talking about this 2023 guy born in 2005. Connor Bedard is 17 years old, 5'10", 185 as a right-handed center, so he actually has gotten a little bit bigger since the last time we had talked about him. That's pretty good if you ask me. But Connor Bedard put his name on the map earlier in the 2020s as the very first exceptional status player in the WHL. He played as a 15-year-old for the Regina Pats, getting 28 points in 15 games played. Now, I know what you're thinking, wait a minute, that is almost 2 points a game as a 15-year-old. In the same season, he played for Team Canada at the U18s, and again, as a 15-year-old, he had 14 points in 7 games. Yeah, he scored at the 2-point-per-game pace as a double underager. Yeah, he was pretty good, and a lot of people were starting to put his name on the map as a legit prospect, a guy that you needed to pay attention to, even if he wouldn't be drafted for the next few years. Last season, Connor Bedard played his first full year in the WHL, getting 100 points in 62 games, 51 goals, 49 assists, and yeah, I mean, the resume speaks for itself. He was over a point per game at the World Juniors. In the canceled World Juniors, he had himself a 4-goal game as well, so he's pretty good, this Connor Bedard. Now, I know I'm saying things that you've probably heard before, and we'll say these same things when we make the Why I Want video sometime in the next few weeks, I guess, but Connor Bedard's start to the 22-23 WHL season has been pretty fun, because in the first game of the year against the Moose Jaw Warriors, the Pats actually lost. They lost 5-4 in regulation, and even though the Pats did score 4 goals, Connor Bedard, unfortunately, had 0 points. Now, he had 10 shots in the game, which is kind of wild. He was also a positive man on the faceoff dot, which is good to see, but that metric of 10 shots, though, that's kind of wild. You take a look at what the team was actually able to do in totality. I mean, the Regina Pats had, how many shots is that? 39 total shots, and Connor Bedard had 10 of them? My goodness, what an absolute maniac. You then had yourselves the next game of Regina Pats hockey the next night. This happened on September 24th, so 2 days ago, against the same Moose Jaw Warriors team. This time, the Pats came back down from 3-1 to rally in a 6-3 victory, which actually saw Connor Bedard do a few things. Firstly, he had an assist on Boravelis' goal to kick things off for Regina. He then scored the game-tying goal, streaking down the right side and sniping it by the Moose Jaw goaltender. You give it a few more minutes and Regina finds themselves on the penalty kill. This is where Connor Bedard takes the puck down the left side instead, streaks in towards the goal, and fires it top cheese far side on the goalie on the off wing as a right-handed shot streaking down the left. It was an amazing shot. And then you had Connor Bedard get the empty netter too at the end of the game. So he actually gets himself 3 goals and an assist in this Regina Pats win over Moose Jaw. Just like the first game, he has 9 shots on goal. So again, Connor Bedard is creating offense and just torturing goaltenders with his overall ability to find space and fire pucks on net. But Connor Bedard has kicked things off with 2 games played, and he's got 4 points in the process. Now sure, the first game he had 0 points, the second game he had 4 points, but you look at the projection and I mean, the math kind of checks out here. 68 games played, 136 points he's kind of on pace for. That's a pretty good number. I get it, sample size definitely is something to consider. 2 games is not really anything worth projecting a full season's worth of production from, but this could be the beginning of the end for every other prospect when it comes to their first overall dreams, because Connor Bedard and his overall WHL profile, I mean, he could have gone first overall last year, to be completely honest. And I think as the season goes on, we're not going to have ourselves the Wright, Slavkovsky, the Hughes or Kako, Lafreniere, Stützle debate that we had the past few seasons. It's not really going to happen that way this year. We're just going to know it's Connor Bedard's year, and I mean, I want to see him go out there and score as many gosh darn points as he can in the WHL, because realistically speaking, I mean, this is probably going to be the last year that he has in this league. He's played the past 3 seasons, or 2 seasons, and then this will be his 3rd already, and he's been nothing short of phenomenal. Even though a lot of these guys are older, even though a lot of these guys are bigger, Connor Bedard is still torturing the competition when it comes to his overall points. So, as the season goes on, I feel like we're probably going to see a lot more of these multi-point games and a lot less of these 0-point games like he had in the first game against Moose Jaw. But ultimately, it just comes down to Connor Bedard giving us more fuel to talk about him for the next calendar year, pretty much. And I guess we're going to have to go over the entire scouting report soon. We're going to make the Why I Want, which goes over his shooting, his skating, the actual attributes of his game that make him such a dynamic player. But when it comes to a guy that can probably challenge the next generational label, this guy's it, man. Connor Bedard is just that. Before we end off this video, though, I wanted to go over one more thing that's kind of related to this, because I'd been seeing Connor Bedard's name trending a lot on social media, especially Twitter, the past few days, because of a clip that was posted of him playing against the Calgary Hitmen, I believe it was last season. The goal that he scored where he streaks down the right side, he dangles a defender, he absolutely posterizes the guy, and then he goes through the legs in the goaltender. Like, you know how many people are even willing to try to move like that? The inside-outside on the D and then to through the legs deke to beat the goalie? Like, that doesn't happen too often in hockey at all. And so for Connor Bedard to not only have the skill to pull it off, but the willingness to do it too, I mean, yeah, he's a special player, as if there was any doubt. So, talk to the comments on your thoughts about Connor Bedard, what he has done so far against the Moose Jaw Warriors, the amount of shots that he's been getting, the points that he has had as well. If you had watched the first 2 games for the Pats against the Warriors, did you notice any pretty significant differences in the way Bedard played? Because obviously, 4 points and 0 points are kind of different, but at the end of the day, he still had a boatload of shots. So talk to the comments on your thoughts about Bedard and his WHL reign of terror in his draft season and how that appears to have kicked off. I hope you enjoyed this video. Trolls 99, and bye.